Hi, so now we can see how we can create a bottom sheet in Flutter. Bottom sheet is actually kind of, it can be used instead of a bottom navigation bar. So let's create this bottom sheet, new Flutter project, Flutter application. Next, let's call this project bottom sheet Flutter. Next, finish. Okay, let's open in the same window. Yeah, so the new Flutter project is now opened. Let's remove all these comments so that we just minimize these lines a little bit. Okay, so here let us delete now this. We have this material widget, which is the basic widget in Flutter, as you all know, which is the root widget. And now we are causing our home screen is our home page. Let's call this Flutter bottom sheet demo. And yeah, so actually we can remove this title and everything. We can just define it in the app bar in our scaffold. And okay, we don't need this string title or anything. Okay, so now remove all this set state, remove the counter, and yeah. So this is the start of the scaffold. Then we have a body inside the scaffold, and inside the body we have a column, and inside this column, okay, now removed, we have a text field. On pressed is increment counter, so just simply do this for now. We don't, sorry, Control Z. So actually we just need to remove this, and this tooltip can be removed. Yep, and we have this icon here. We are missing the function arguments, I think. I need to, yeah, so this tile we can also okay, we can keep this tile, but we need to have a string here, which is, I think, text, or we can simply copy this. Actually, we just need only one text file, so let's remove this, sorry, one text widget. So let's remove this, and we have this widget.title here as the app bar title, because the title no more exists. Let's call this bottom sheet demo. Bottom sheet demo. Okay, and this is our on pressed function, and in this on pressed function we can let's say we can create here another function, or we can create inside this we can create a bottom sheet. But let's first save it and run it. To see what we have now, and then we move on to implement this on press function. Actually, in this on press function we are going to call our bottom sheet and or create our bottom sheet as well. So this is our app right now. So let's, when we will click here, we get a model sheet now, a bottom sheet now. So let us first delete this. Uh, let's call this uh, okay, let's keep it here for now, and we can actually call another function here which will make it easier, so we can define a function outside here for showing our bottom sheet. I think that's more better way of coding. So just simply do this, remove all these brackets, and simply call a function. Let's say call this underscore call bottom sheet function. Okay, and now we need to define this function, of course. Okay, now we need these brackets, and here inside we will call this show bottom model bottom sheet. Model bottom sheet is actually a part of the uh, this material package, Flutter, this one, this material.dart class. In this package we have this model sheet, and in this model sheet we can have a context, for example. uh, this is a context that we get from above, and this is now builder, builder builder, and we pass this context here. And then we have these parentheses again, and we are going to kind of build a builder inside these parentheses. We need to have a semicolon also at the end. So yeah, so here we are going to build our builder. So inside here we have a return, which is a column. Okay, and inside the column we have like children in parameter, and this children, actually this is a widget here. Okay, we are going to have some some list items inside this model bottom sheet, so that we have those specific items inside it. So we can use a list tile, for example, list tile. Okay, and inside the list tile we have, first of all, we have a title. Let's say we can call this title as settings. Maybe we can use a text widget here, and inside this we can say, let's say this is settings. Yeah, and then we have yeah, let's just put in only like this, and then put another style here, call this home. Let's put another list style here and call this, yeah, what should I call this? Let's say update, whatever. So yes, so you can yeah, this column should also be closed with a semicolon. And now let's run it and let's see what we get. So if we click here, yeah, you see settings, home, and update. So we have got a bottom sheet now, but of course this bottom sheet is not so good looking, and there's a lot of space issues here. So we need to do a lot of tweaking and settings and adding some other, styling parameters here. Also, there are no icons here, just, three text files, but this is three text messages, like here, settings, update, and home. So but this is how you will get a bottom sheet. It's simply we are calling this call bottom sheet function inside this onPrep function of the floating action button. So let's style this now. Okay, so for the styling, let's say first we can add an icon uh, before this text. So okay, icon is not a property. Okay, leading is a property of this list style. So let's add a leading icon here. So icon widget, and then icons dot so we can use a settings icon here. You see this icon you will see before this now, before this text. In this we can also copy the same here as well, and also here for update. So for home item, let's see if do we have some home. Yeah, we have a home icon as well. And let's see for update, do we have an update icon? Okay, yes, we have an update icon as well, something like this timing circle. Now Control S, a hot reload, and let's see what we have. So you see, okay, no, we only have settings right now, but we have actually set everything. So click this. Yes, you see now we have these three icons before these text, so this is looking much better now. And also inside this we can, just like we have an onPressed function and we call some function here, we can have something like an onTap function here, you know. This is an onTap function, and we can, let's say, do something in this onTap function. Okay, so let's rename this function to call item. Okay, we can copy this same tab function, because this we will pass a string to this function, which will be, let's say, called settings called, and then we can copy this everywhere. This will be called here as well. Here we can name it as home called. Here we can name it as update called. And of course, yeah, so this string we want to show somehow in this place, you know. So let's call a string let's define a string here and call it called item. Okay, let's call it underscore called item. And okay, simply let's, you know, sorry, let's initialize this called item string with yeah, with something like no item yet called. Close this, and now inside this text, just we delete this and we call underscore called item string here, so it will show no item, but we have this we have to define this call item function. Just copy this, and just outside this function, inside this home class, just paste it, and let's create this function. This function is going to have a string as argument, as we see above. String this item, and then we will have a set state inside it. Set state, sorry, set is small, I think. Yes, yeah, set state. So that's it, and here we will actually call this underscore called item, and we will make it equal to this item, and we set this equal to the item, and of course that's it. Item is passed from here, so that's it. Control S, everything is fine. So let's see. So Control S makes a hot reload. So let's see what we get here. So no item yet called, of course, because we put this called item string inside this text widget now, and this called item at the start is no item yet called. Yes, and now we click on the button, we click on settings, and we go back. It says setting called. We click here again, we click here, home called, we click here again, we click here, and update called. Now you see that we see which actions were called. This on tap function is is doing the actions when we tap on any of these list items. But now one thing is that we cannot, this is not going away. This so we can do it. If we put this navigator dot pop here, navigator dot pop, and simply we pass the context here, which is being passed, and we do this, then I think this will go away by itself. So let's click home, it goes away, home called. Let's click update, update call, it goes away. Let's click setting, it goes away when settings called, and settings called is written here. So now the next thing is that we style it a little bit more better, because you see there's so much space here and everything. So it's we don't have so many items, but we are losing this space. So let's remove that first. So first of all, to reduce the size, let's click here on column. It will show us this tips, and wrap this with a container widget. So I click here, so you see the column is now wrapped in a container widget, and we can Control S. Everything is fine. Still we have it with this. So let's put a height inside it. Let's call this height as 150, and then Control S. Now let's see what happens. So you see this has become less in height, but of course we cannot see the third list tile, which is update, because this height is a bit too less. Let's make it 200. Okay, and now do we see something? Yeah, you see now we have all the three inside it, so it looks much better now. And of course, if we want to decorate some more things, like if we want to change the color or the background color of this widget behind this bottom sheet, we can add different colors and other things. So yeah, or we can add some, if we want to make these these corners as, let's say, rounded corners, we can add something like some box decoration, etc. with it. So we can do a lot of styling stuff with this bottom sheet now. So let's first change the color of the bottom sheet. So let's call it colors dot yellow. Okay, let's click here. So go back, click here again. So you see now the color of our bottom sheet is yellow now. So this is a bit of implementation of a bottom navigation in Flutter. So I hope you understand everything. So this is simple. We had a simple material widget, the basic widget, the root widget, which was material app. Inside this we have a home screen, which is my home page, and we add a text file and app bar, and a text widget, app bar, text widget, and a floating action button to it. Inside this floating action on press button, we have this call bottom sheet function. This call bottom sheet function is actually doing all this. It is creating this modal bottom sheet, which is a part of the material dot package. And then when this is tapped, we call this call item, which is changing these strings inside this text widget on the main screen. So that is all what we did here today. As you see, home called, update called. So that's the finishing of the bottom sheet implementation with Flutter. So we can use a bottom sheet also instead of a bottom navigation bar for navigating the app. Thank you.